Zaz. It's just my gut instinct is I don't want to see that. Hi, how are you? I hope you're very, very well. So today I thought I would talk about some shows that I don't want to see. And you might be like, Amy, why? And to be honest, I don't know. I saw some newly released images for one of these shows and I thought, that's a show I don't want to see. I'll share that with the people who watch my videos. So this is no shade to these shows. I haven't seen them, so I can't really comment on them, but this is the reasons why I don't want to see them, if that makes sense. Just thought I'd share it, you know? The first one up is Tootsie. I like the film of Tootsie. I love Dustin Hoffman, he's great. I love Jessica Lange, she's great. I think it's a fab film. It's funny, it's light-hearted, I enjoy it. Now, when it was announced that the film was going to be transferred into a musical, I was like, that's really cool. I actually love this film. And then the first thing I saw about it was some of the merch designs, and one of the bags was like, it's not a job of a man to be a woman. And it's like, is that a bit transphobic? I think possibly. Not a great start. But I was still like, do you know what? Maybe it's just a bad design. Maybe the show's still great. I haven't seen the show. I haven't listened to the music. All I've seen of it actually is what they did at the Tony Awards, which I thought was a bit meh. I just wasn't inspired to see it. Do you know what I mean? I was like, It was very generic musical. And I like more than generic musical. I like zazz. And then Lewis went to go and see it. So my friend Lewis went to go and see the show in New York in the summer, and he said that he enjoyed it, but it wasn't great. And he said a lot of the jokes were sexist and outdated and not funny. And I just thought, that is a show that I'm not fussed about seeing. I don't know anyone who has seen it who really enjoyed it. On that basis alone, that's why I don't want to see Tootsie. Now then, the next show I don't want to see is Mrs. Doubtfire because of the wonderful things he does. Mrs. Doubtfire is one of my all-time favourite films. It's probably one of my top 5 films. I love it. I love Robin Williams, and it seems really wrong to change that. I like a lot of shows that are made out of films. I love Mean Girls. I love Heathers. I like shows that are made out of films. I don't have a prejudice about them at all. But there's something about Mrs. Doubtfire and Robin Williams in that role. It's just right as it is. And if somebody was in the show and tried to do an impression of Robin Williams, I would have an issue with that. I personally feel like Pretty Woman is just the actors doing impressions of Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. I don't love that. I like a show, if it's being turned into a musical, to be slightly different. Like Mean Girls, it's still the story of Katie and the Plastics and Janice and Damien, but it's very different at the same time. It's a different show. It follows the same kind of arc, but there's lots of different stuff in it. Whereas like Pretty Woman for me was just doing Pretty Woman, but with some songs. There's a difference. And then if they tried to redo it and not do it the same way, I think to me that is the only way it would work. Like if they just try and put the film of Mrs. Doubtfire on the stage but with songs, I think it will be awful. We'll see. I mean, I've not heard anything about it. It's just my gut instinct is I don't want to see that. Please don't do it. Maybe it's because it's like Mrs. Doubtfire is very nostalgic for me as a child, watching it with my family, and Robin Williams, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too soft. Okay, so the next one I'm not really interested in seeing is The Band's Visit. I know that it won the Tony a couple of years ago for Best New Musical. I've really tried to listen to the music. I've watched clips. It's just not one I'd be really fussed about seeing.
That's what I reckoned.
Wow. I've been to New York twice while it was on. Both times I saw a lot of shows. I saw a couple of them twice. It just wasn't a show that I would be fussed about seeing. I don't know why. I don't think there's any particular reason. I just couldn't get into the music. It just wasn't something that kind of grabbed me straight away. And I am a person who generally, I like to be grabbed straight away by at least something. Like the first time I listened to Six, I wasn't that keen. I was like, the voices, amazing. Not too keen on the rest of it, but it took some getting used to. But I still liked something at the beginning. But The Band's Visit was just a bit unforgettable for me. I don't want to see Thriller. I think Michael Jackson's music is fine. There's some classics in there. If Thriller comes on at a disco, you best believe I'm gonna be getting my 13 going on 30 out. I think it's just one of those shows, like, I don't really like a jukebox musical unless it's the Cher show. They're not usually my favourites, and at West End Live every year they seem to have like an hour-long slot and perform about 17 songs. I feel like I've seen it anyway. But also, I have a funny thing with Michael Jackson now. Obviously, I did watch the documentary with the two guys who claimed to have been molested by Michael Jackson, and a lot has happened over the years. Obviously, there's a lot of footage and stuff, and you know what? It just makes me feel icky now. And whether he did do it or not, I suppose we'll never know because there's no hard proof. I am of the opinion that he probably did, but you know, each to their own if you think not. So I feel a bit funny about it, like it's celebrating something, and you should be able to separate the music from the person. I understand that, but it is so connected together, and I don't know, I feel a bit funny about it, so that's why I just wouldn't be fussed about seeing it, to be honest. Now my last one that I'm not really fussed about seeing is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I heard very mixed reviews about it. There was this TV show a few years ago, I think it was called The Sound of Musicals. I think that was the one, but it was all about kind of the development of the show, and usually something like that I'd be like, oh my god, I saw it developed, now I want to see it, but it actually did the opposite for me, and I didn't ever really hear great reviews about it. I just don't think it's a show that I would have been that fussed about. Like, Matilda has some great songs, but I don't really like the show Matilda. I think it's kind of in the same vein. I don't know, maybe. I mean, I've not seen it, so, you know, this is such a pointless video. I'm gonna get so many comments that are like, she just said, oh well, I've not seen it, so I can't comment on it. Yeah, I mean, that's what you're gonna get. That's my reasons for not wanting to see those 5 shows. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I'd be interested to know if you've seen any of the shows that I listed. What were your opinions? Are there any shows that you just think, I don't think I'd like that? Let me know. I would be interested to hear. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I will speak to you soon. Love you lots. Bye.